Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now to kick things off here in June, I wanted to start off with a big subscriber request. Now a number of my viewers have actually asked me to talk about this company. It's in the MJ space. It's a relatively small cap compared to some of the other companies that we've looked at, and they really do have a unique business model. Now the company name is MariMed Inc. And they just came out with some big Q1 numbers, so we're going to look at those in this video. Then we're going to talk about their business model and my thoughts on company share price moving forward. Now for full disclosure, I do not own any MariMed shares at this point in time, but I am going to be adding this one to my watch list because I'm really excited with what I see here. Now before we get into it, please take a second to smash that like button. It really helps out the channel in a big way. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this analysis, if you're currently holding any MariMed shares, and what you thought about their Q1 results. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, take a second to do so as well. Now without further ado, let's jump right into today's video. Okay guys, so today we're going to be talking about MariMed Inc. Now I'm really excited to do this video, number one, because this was actually a subscriber request. This is a company I hadn't really heard about, and one of my subscribers said, hey, you should take a look. And the more I researched this one, the more I really started to like it for a number of reasons that we're going to go through in this video. The second thing that's interesting here is this is actually a small cap player. You can see this is a penny stock trading about $1.10 US. But they are focused exclusively on the United States market. And as you all are aware, I'm very bullish on the United States MJ market. So that's definitely one thing that caught my eye. Now, the other thing that's unique about this business compared to a lot of the other smaller cap MJ companies that we've reviewed on this channel is they actually started out as a consulting firm that really gave specialized advice to the MJ industry and to companies that were starting out in that space. And over the years, MariMed has really grown and shifted their operations, and they're currently in the process of consolidating a lot of these client businesses into the public company itself. So it's a really cool business model. Now, as you can see with the price chart here, we have a 1-year view pulled up. Now, the vast majority of companies that we've talked about on this channel saw some strength in the middle of February there, and you can actually see if we zoom in to the February chart, February 8th type of range, MariMed was in the 84-cent range. And a lot of the companies that we look at have actually fallen back from that mid-February kind of strength, and they're now trading below that price. But what's unique with MariMed is they've continued to uptrend, and they're actually now north of $1.10. So back in November of 2020, this was a 17-cent company, and they're now trading at about 6.5 times what they were just 6 months ago. So very strong company here, you guys. I think there's a lot of potential, and I really wanted to take a deep dive on their differentiated business model and look into MariMed in a little bit more detail. So in terms of share price, it was a US holiday here on Monday, so this is as of close last week. They were down 2 cents or about 2% on the day, and they closed at that $1.10 US price point that we just referred to. Now MariMed trades on the OTC, so over-the-counter exchange in the United States, and its ticker symbol is MRMD. And one final point on this page, you guys, before we move into the video here, market cap on this guy is about 355 million US, which equates to about $430 million in Canadian funds. So it's very similar in size to some of the other companies that we've talked about on this channel. But again, slightly different focus with the US exposure and that consolidation of the various client businesses that we're really starting to see ramp up with MariMed here. Now to kick things off here, you guys, I wanted to talk about MariMed's Q1 2021 results. We're really lucky in the MJ space right now because there's a ton of companies that are starting to report Q1 numbers, and it's really interesting to start to compare and contrast the earnings, the revenue, the adjusted EBITDA between these various players. So that's how I wanted to start this video off. Then we're going to talk about MariMed's business model itself, some of the recent changes that they've made at this company, and then give a price prediction or price target on this stock moving forward. So in terms of revenue here, you guys, if you scroll down, you can see some of the bullet point highlights. MariMed actually achieved their highest ever quarter of core MJ revenue and profitability, and they're on track for their previously announced full year 2021 guidance of around $100 million in revenue and $30 million of EBITDA. So this really does stack up quite nicely to some of the other companies that are this type of market cap or this type of size. Now, they generated just about $25 million in US dollars of core MJ revenue for the quarter. This represented a 230% increase over the $7.5 million that they saw in Q1 of 2020. So year over year, they're up triple digits here, you guys. And this is really exciting, especially as we start to look at some of the changes they're making internally at this company. I really think this trend is going to continue for the foreseeable future here. Adjusted EBITDA came in at $7.6 million, which is nearly 800% increase over the $900,000 they saw in Q1 of 2020. So absolutely massive turnaround there for EBITDA as well. Gross profit on core MJ sales came in at $13.2 million, which was up 171% year over year compared to Q1 of 2020. So those numbers ultimately boiled down to net income of $4.3 million US, or 1 cent per common share, compared to a net loss of $2.3 million or 1 cent per share loss in Q1 of 2020. So this is actually one of the only companies in this space that's actually generating positive net income at this point in time, which is really exciting to see as a prospective investor in MariMed. Now, I currently don't have any position in this company. As mentioned, this is a new stock to me, and this was actually referred by one of my subscribers. But this is definitely one that's on my watch list now, you guys, because of this strong performance they put up in Q1 of 2021 here. Now, they also saw a very nice increase in their working capital position, which is now sitting at just north of $17 million, which is actually up $19.3 million from negative working capital of $2.2 million a year ago. They also delivered $6.8 million of positive cash flow from operations during the quarter, which is an increase of $7.2 million compared to Q1 of last year. And they also, which is really exciting here, you guys, retired $16.6 million of debt, representing almost all of their non-mortgage related debt that this company held. So extremely strong performance here, you guys. Great top line revenue growth, awesome EBITDA improvement year over year, and they're actually delivering positive net income and delivering shareholder earnings, not to mention getting rid of debt and paying down some of their liabilities. So excellent overall performance by MariMed in my personal opinion. Now, in terms of the operational highlights for Q1, there's a couple that I wanted to hit on here. They closed a $46 million equity financing, which is really going to allow them to, number one, strengthen the company balance sheet by retiring basically all of that non-real estate or non-mortgage related debt. And the other half, they're really going to use to continue to acquire different MJ related licenses and businesses in various different states across the US. So very smart use of these funds, in my opinion. They also opened their 4th recreational dispensary in Illinois, which is called Thrive Metropolis, and added a number of new SKUs to their brand portfolio, most notably the Smash and Passion flavor of their Betty's Edibles vegan chew brand, which we're going to look at in a little bit more detail here in a second. Now, I did want to share some quick comments from the CEO, Bob Fireman. Great name, by the way, Bob. So he's thrilled with our Q1 performance. We delivered significant top-line revenue growth, which we just talked about, together with improved earnings to our shareholders. Our previously announced consolidation plan is working. We're going to look at this in a little bit here and talk about some of the milestones that MariMed has now achieved. We're building a strong, consolidated platform of great assets and brands that consumers love, led by deeply experienced corporate and local state level management. We have a new financial partner to support the company and enable management to meet its growth objectives. Those key components, together with being cash flow positive and profitable, position us for further expansion and consolidation as we march forward to becoming a top-tier MSO or multi-state operator. So that really sums it up very nicely, you guys, and very well-rounded earnings with a high level of execution on various fronts by this management team. So shifting gears a little bit now, we're going to talk about the MariMed story or history and how they got to this point. So as alluded to on that initial slide, this company was actually formed by Bob Fireman, so it's founder-led in 2012. And at that point in time, they really created this company to advise other operators and licensees on the design, development, operations, and different intricacies around the financing of new MJ cultivation centers and dispensaries in the United States. And then what actually happened was Bob and team said, hey, you know what, let's use all this knowledge and experience that we have to really consolidate some of these assets and create our own company that operates in this space. So as the market and their experience grew, this business evolved into MariMed Inc. from the former MariMed Advisors, which is now focused as a premier seed-to-consumer vertically integrated multi-state operator. The company used its experience as an advisor to develop and acquire its own brands of MJ precision dose products and state-of-the-art facilities that focus on consumer safety, highest quality products, and enhanced patient wellness. So that's really interesting to me as a prospective investor because you can tell that Bob really understands this industry and he's seen a lot of different companies in various different situations that he can now draw that experience and bring that into his own company here at MariMed Inc. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this company continues to grow over the next couple of years, knowing that he's got that really strong backing and fundamental knowledge of the MJ industry behind him. Now, seeing as we're talking a lot about Bob Fireman, I wanted to just quickly take a look at his experience here. So he's got 14 years in the MJ industry, primarily as a consultant, which we just saw. And that consulting background really gives him knowledge and experience in nearly every aspect of the MJ industry, which include licensing, permitting, facility development, cultivation, production, distribution, and retail operations, so very well rounded. In addition to that, he's also got experience and oversight with corporate development, strategy, finance, job force creation, merger and acquisition activity, and strategic alliances. So again, very diverse experience and very deep understanding of a lot of the situations and challenges that may present themselves in this industry. And prior to focusing on MJ, Bob was actually a practicing attorney for over 30 years, as well as an entrepreneur that focused on new technologies and innovative businesses. So when I look at this guy, I really see an all-star that's looking to take on new challenges and really get outside of his comfort zone and challenge himself both personally and professionally. And then of course, he's built a very strong team around him, which I would encourage you guys to take a deeper look at if you're looking to get involved with this company moving forward. So now that we've talked about the leadership team, some of their recent financial results, I wanted to share a little bit more information about MariMed Inc. itself. So it's a publicly traded, vertically integrated MSO, which we just talked about, whose team has developed 17 licenses across 6 different states in the US, which include Delaware, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Nevada, and Rhode Island. So very well diversified and a big presence in a number of the major markets in the United States. They've designed, developed, and managed over 300,000 square feet of state-of-the-art, regulatory compliant cultivation, production, distribution, and retail facilities. So very robust operational footprint. They've got an impressive portfolio of top quality brands in the United States, including the award-winning Betty's Edibles, which we just talked about that new flavor coming online, and we're going to look at in a second here in more detail. And you're going to see this as a common trend throughout the presentation, but they're really focused on consolidating and integrating various different MJ licensed businesses in the medical and adult use markets under this public company or MariMed banner. So this slide gives a little bit more detail on that national footprint and their base of operations that we just talked about. So as you can see, represented in multiple states. Now they list 5 here compared to 6 on the prior slide, with Rhode Island being the missing component. They also service Puerto Rico and Maine as well in limited capacity. So again, very well diversified, even outside of mainland United States. They've got 7 different operating dispensaries, 3 additional dispensaries that are currently under development. They've got 5 cultivation and production facilities or grow facilities, and just about 300 employees nationwide. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the chart here. The lines are a little hard to follow, but the point of this slide really is that they've got a very diverse base of operations in multiple states with multiple different points of contact with their consumers. So they truly are a vertically integrated company from end to end or seed to store. Now, in terms of the MariMed brand portfolio, they've got 4 that would be considered in-house MJ brands. They've also got a CBD lineup under the Florence banner, and then they've got a number of partner brands, which include Binsky, Healer, and Tropizin. So we're really going to focus on the in-house brands. Now what's interesting here is a lot of the companies we've reviewed on this channel really have multiple different brands that have very similar products, and they actually target different segments of the market, whereas MariMed actually has 4 very distinct brands that are all uniquely different from one another. So Betty's Eddies is really focused on the medicated chew space. They're gluten-free, they're vegan, they're preservative-free, they're handcrafted, and they really feature all natural ingredients for the best overall customer experience. Now we're going to look at some of the flavors in a second here, but that's definitely one of their most recognized and popular brands that they offer. They then have Calm Fusion, which is chewable tablets or essentially mints. So these are a low dose take with you product that people can enjoy throughout their day. They have Nature's Heritage, which is their traditional flower offering or MJ offering that feature top shelf strains with very rich THC potency and terpene mixes. And then finally, they have BB Co, which is Born Baking, and this really focuses on some of the traditional or classic desserts in the United States, most notably cookies, snickerdoodles, stuff like that. So very well diversified, and again, they really have one brand to address each portion of the market, and they're not really competing with themselves in any specific space. So if we jump over to the Betty's Eddies page here, you can see it was established in 2014. They have a very wide offering in terms of different flavors. So you can see lemon, lime, they have a bedtime edible, apple pie, and then at the bottom here you can see the Smash and Passion, which is the most recent flavor that was launched in Q1 of 2021. So again, these are extremely popular here, you guys, and have very high reviews from consumers who use these products. Now I also wanted to jump over to the Confusion website, because this is kind of unique for a lot of the products that I've seen in the MJ space. I really haven't seen a lot of mints or chewable tablets from very many of these companies. So they come in a THC, CBD, or a 1-in-1 formulation. So there are a number of different formats. And again, if you scroll down here, you can really see they do have a wide variety of flavors and offerings. So in the THC portfolio, they have pineapple, mint, and orange cream. In the 1-in-1 products, so the ones that contain THC and CBD, they have fruit punch and black cherry. And then in the CBD lineup, they actually just have the mint offering. So again, depends on your mood and your desired outcome. But I thought this was a really cool format and a really cool product that was pretty rare for some of the companies that I've talked about in the past on this channel. So jumping back to the investor deck, I now wanted to give a quick update on their strategic plan and their growth drivers over the next couple of years. So we see again this consolidation of business units, you guys. They're really trying to take a lot of these client managed businesses and bring them back under the MariMed or public company banner or operation. So that's one thing they've been aggressively pursuing, and we're going to look at in a bit more detail on the next slide. They're expanding their brand portfolio and licensing revenue, so they're continuing to launch new SKUs and enter new states. They have facility enhancements underway, and that's actually being funded by that raise that we talked about in the initial slide there. They're really focused on automation within their facilities and eliminating a lot of the overhead or manpower that's required to pump out these products. And then their footprint expansion is the fourth pillar that they call out. So they're actively looking to acquire new licenses in new states and bring on additional capacity or build their scale in their current footprint. So this slide gives a nice little update on this consolidation plan. So what MariMed is really trying to do is go out and change how they operate in a number of these different states. So traditionally, this company, as they were consultants, made their money from consulting fees, management fees, rental income of these different facilities, and licensing fees. So they didn't actually touch or own the plant or means of production themselves. So now what they've done is they're actually going out to some of these licensed MJ businesses in the states described here. So Massachusetts, Illinois have been completed, Maryland, Nevada are currently in progress, and Delaware and Rhode Island are on the future roadmap here. And they're trying to actually bring some of these assets back in-house under the MariMed Inc. banner rather than leasing them out to other MJ operators. And by doing this, MariMed feels like it's going to add between $200 and $300 million of annual revenue to their top line. So again, very unique, really different than anything else we've seen on the companies that we've talked about on this channel. But this company has really had a change of strategy, and they're now going out and they're taking back a lot of these assets that they were previously leasing and really changing where their revenue is coming from moving forward. Now, we talked about their $46 million raise in that initial slide, but what I wanted to quickly mention here, you guys, is this partnership with Hadron Capital isn't necessarily a one and done type of situation. So if and when MariMed decides to take on new opportunities or accelerate their growth moving forward, Hadron Capital has actually committed to helping them achieve those goals. So this is great to see and really gives them the backing and the confidence that they need to make these type of business decisions and continue to grow in the way that they see fit as opportunities present themselves to MariMed. So this slide gives a really nice overview of their revenue growth and EBITDA over the last couple of quarters and last couple of years. So obviously we just saw Q1 of 2021, which came in at 24.6 million. So you can see the growth trajectory is continuing, but comparing just Q4 of 2020 to Q4 of 2019, they saw 292% year-over-year revenue growth with a compound annual growth rate of 103% between 2017 and 2020. So triple digit numbers on both sides of the house here, and really impressive, especially considering we're continuing to see that trend as we move into 2021. So to wrap things up here today, guys, I wanted to give you my quick price prediction or price target on MariMed moving forward. Now this article is from the Motley Fool, and I wanted to include it because it really wraps things up quite nicely for this company. So they refer to MariMed and Trulieve as being two of the cheapest MJ stocks that are currently available in terms of adjusted EBITDA to overall market cap. So I wanted to give you a quick comparison here. If you scroll down, now keep in mind this article came out on April 28th, so before Q1 earnings came out for MariMed, but at that point in time, they were trading at 14 times adjusted EBITDA. And if we look at some of the other larger cap players in this space, even Cresco Labs, which you guys know I'm a huge fan of, I currently own and I have some videos on, they're trading at a multiple of 23 in terms of adjusted EBITDA to market cap. Now, Green Thumb Industries is trading at 35 and Curaleaf is trading at a multiple of over 60. So compared to some of these other companies, it is pretty easy to see that MariMed is trading at a significant discount. Now, keep in mind, adjusted EBITDA can vary dramatically between companies. So I often like to look at revenue compared to market cap instead of adjusted EBITDA. But in terms of my price prediction for MariMed, I easily think this could be $1 billion market cap, even with the current numbers that we saw in Q1. And based on that $1 billion market cap, that would give them a share price of about 3 times where they currently trade. So I think anywhere from about $3 to $3.50 US is probably fair value for MariMed at this point in time. And if they continue to execute, they continue on this consolidation plan that they've laid out, and we see revenue and earnings continue to come in at the rates that they have been over the last couple of quarters, I could easily see this company growing into a multi-billion-dollar market cap over the next couple of years. So for those reasons, you guys, I'm definitely going to be adding MariMed to my short list. Now, I generally don't like to hold companies on the OTC exchange, so I definitely would like to see them uplist at some point in time here, but I may have to make an exception because I am very excited about this business, especially considering how knowledgeable and experienced the management team really is at navigating some of the challenges and intricacies of the MJ industry itself. So overall here, you guys, I would definitely recommend MariMed as a strong buy. I'm going to be putting this on my watch list. I will keep you posted if and when I do decide to pull the trigger. As always, feel free to leave a comment in the section below on what you think of MariMed overall, their earnings, and if you're currently holding any shares. If you're not subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And on a final note, make sure you smash that like button. It's a huge help to me in the channel, and it's completely free to do. On that note, you guys, have a great rest of your day, and thanks so much for watching.